Hi everybody, this is Peter the Potter, Maggie Valley, North Carolina. I'm going to be posting some of these throws on the eBay, not on eBay, on YouTube. So I'm starting to work up some clay here. And we just finished a little while ago demonstrating of the two-piece wine goblet. And what we're going to do here is I'm going to make a small pitcher shape for you, and I will show you what I'm doing here. This is my stoneware clay. This is approximately, not approximately, exactly. Let's see here, exactly. Well, let's get our scale moved over here a little bit. Okay, and let's see, this is a 1.5 pounds of clay. I'll take off a little bit. This will be 1.5 pounds of clay. And we're going to throw a pitcher. Pitcher. Wheelhead. Let's see, we can still see our side view in the mirror here. Yeah, I guess we can see it. Alright, here we go. We're going to do our centering. And we'll do a little coning here too. We always do some coning. The larger the piece, the larger the cone. I usually just cone it straight up, and then there's a trick I do sometimes, which is just laying the clay over to my hand like this. Just laying it over, and as you lay it over, it goes down, by itself. And then we'll continue the downward pressure with the right hand. Here we go. 1.5 pounds, a little bit larger than the base of the wine goblet. And there we go. You can tell when the clay is centered when it stops jumping around. Okay, we're going to do this sort of in real time. We're going to drop a hole here, about 1/4 inch from the bottom. Take a needle tool here and check our hole. Okay, here we go. About 1/4 inch, maybe a little bit more. Clean up the hole, and then we're going to pull a floor. Now we're going to compress the bottom by going back and forth on the bottom. Good compressed bottom will help sometimes with some S-cracking, although fast drying usually creates S-cracking. So we've got our base, and now I put in my pitter swirl, which I do on all pieces except for bowls and plates, because we don't want your spoon going bump, bump, bump underneath the across the ridges on vases and pitchers and mugs and things like that. We don't mind putting in the swirl, but on regular pots, stuff that'll have a spoon run across, we don't like to put the swirl in. Okay, we're going to start up with the first pull. I usually pull from the outside, pushing inward against my finger, sponge in hand, and I use to help push my thumb in with the sponge on my hand, and we're going to start up. Okay, that's our first pull. We're going to undercut a little bit here, and we're going to start the second pull. I'm always pushing to the center, and when I do a pitcher, I try to leave a pretty stout top, because you will see from the way I make my pitchers that see that nice undercut with my finger, and now I'm going to just lift this whole stuff up into the piece. Nice. Hey, we here also, you probably saw me do just a regular sponge, but naturally a sponge on a stick. And when we drop the sponge in, excuse me, we don't want to erase the swirls on the bottom, so we're going to let the stick spin around as it goes in the hole. See it going around and around. That way when we get the water out, we don't disturb the bottom. And then we just lightly get the rest of it out. Now we're going to put the water around the whole wheel. Make sure you get it wet on the inside and outside. Hand drops into the hole. Do the final pull here. Slightly shaping the pot, just slightly. Alrighty, now we've got a nice good curve here, and we're going to swell the pot out to make the pitcher form. Coming out nice line angle on the bottom and a little flared bottom because we'll trim a lot of that away. Just fingers lightly pushing up, defining the line. Go. Alrighty, we got the beginning of a pitcher. Now we're going to collar the top in. And then we're going to shape the throat of the pitcher. Leave that little flare right there. Now I'm going to clean up this outside just a hair. And then I'm going to put my throwing defined lines on. For beginners, this is sometimes hard to do. Right around where the top is, I come down and I'm going to use that famous nail of mine. I come back right underneath it and make a little soft spot in the clay. Right there. And then clean up your outside. Okay. Now we've got a basic pitcher form, or a nice small vase. Now we're going to trim this off on the bottom. Just sort of come in straight on the bottom and take this weight of clay out of here. Now you can see we got the bottom started. Now we're going to undercut the bottom. And not drop the pot. Take away some of this extra clay. Really severe undercut on this one, which is good. You can see the form of the pot. Now, like we did again, we're going to take the water out from inside. Alrighty, we got our little pitcher shape here. Now we're going to remember about that thumbnail thing again. 2 lines, glazed catcher lines. Excuse me. Leather strap, 2 fingers across the top. Round out your rim up top here. That looks good. Now the pitcher part. What I do now is I'll dry my hands off. Get most of this clay slurry off my thing here. Wipe my hands down. I'm going to use 2 dry fingers and one wet finger. Going to stop the pot. I'm going to put these 2 fingers about the size of the spout. The wet finger is going to go here, and I'm going to smooth this out and push back with my 2 fingers until I get like a little notch right here. And then it's the famous pitter pinch, which I use to define the spout. Now, basic pitcher form, but I put a little extra to it. I put a finger inside and I make a defined line right there, and over here the same way. And then I'm going to turn this pot around with those 2 nice little defined lines, and I'm going to shape it up Flatten out the back of the rim. Use up my little sponge here my leather tool here to just clean up the finger marks around this. Just clean it up a little bit because it's going to dry like that. Pitcher shape. Of course, we'll do handles later. And that's the basic pitcher form. The pitter pitcher form. Handle to be added later. It's Pitter the Potter, Maggie Valley, North Carolina. By the way, it's pithcerthepotter.com. Excuse me, it's pithcerthepotter.com. Yes, you can look my site up on the internet. See you later.